Hi, everybody, and welcome. I am Sheena Metal and Saturday Night Spiritual. I'm the interfaith pastor here at Founders Metropolitan Community Church. Rev Sheena, some call me. Whatever you want to call me is fine. Like spirit, names are not important to me. It's important that you send love and light through your heart. So if you send me love and light, that means much more to me than a name. Welcome. It's the night before Easter, right? It's the magic day between Good Friday and Easter Sunday. This is always kind of a mystic and celestially blessed weekend. Also, we're in Passover. So to all of our Jewish friends, we wish you a good Passover, and I hope you're having a wonderful Seder dinner tonight. We're here on the second Saturday of every month at SaturdayNightSpiritual.com. That's our community page. FoundersMCC.org for our wonderful church. That's their page. We have a fantastic page on YouTube for Founders Metropolitan Community Church Los Angeles and a wonderful Facebook page. Please check out all three of those things. And then, of course, if you're interested in Saturday Night Spiritual and watching past services, I have a page for you, Rev Sheena, foundersmcc.com, that will just list the dates, the titles of the sermons, and a link for you to click on to watch whatever you want. And I have pretty much all of them on there. I'm still sort of scrabbling to put the older ones up, but almost everything is there, and honored to have it there. Honored to be a part of this wonderful church, honored to be the interfaith pastor here, honored to be pastored in such a wonderful place with such beautiful people, and to be given this beautiful service to perform to you online, where it can reach anyone in the world who wants to enjoy it. If you don't speak English, it can be translated for you online. If you don't hear, you can get subtitles. And no matter what you want, how you want to receive a message, you can receive it here. And that's the beautiful thing about being an interfaith pastor. And that's the wonderful thing about interfaith spirituality in general, is that it's all about the message and not how you receive it. And I believe, as a teachings of Christ Christian, that that is what Jesus would have wanted. I don't believe that Jesus would have cared what language you got his message in, how that message hit you, whether it mostly hit your ears or your eyes or your heart, of course, and your soul, your mind, all the different places you can receive a spiritual message, what you were doing when you received the message. All that mattered to Jesus was that the message was taken inside of you, digested, and then you use that message to apply Christ's teachings to the world in any way that you saw fit to do it. Sing it, dance it, rewrite it, make it funny, make it serious, make it heady, make it simple. Just pass the messages of light on. That is the most important thing. That is the essence of the magic of the light of Christ, of the magic of the Christ Spirit, the miracle of the Christ path. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about miracles, but first, a little bit about who I am and why I'm here. As I said, I'm so honored to be a part of this wonderful church. Our service will be 4 years old in 2 months. That's exciting. Always Saturday. I love it because there's so much that goes on here between our English speaking service led by our senior pastor, Keith Mazingo, and our Spanish speaking service read by the head of our Spanish speaking ministries, Reverend Alejandro Escoto, two wonderful men that are like my spirit brothers and such inspirations to me as clergy. There's so much going on Sunday. We thought something Saturday night would be fun, to be a little different and to not be so traditionally Christian in our worship, because Although I've had Orthodox Jewish friends tell me I can never attend because it's always when the Seder is. And I'm like, oh, we should have thought about that. But you're always going to miss somebody. And that's the miracle of having it online, that it can be watched later and the message can be received. And I think that is so important. The beautiful thing about interfaith spirituality, and we designed this service to be universal, to be light-based, to be love-filled, to be for everyone. And it's so important that spirituality be for everyone. When you look at the teachings of Christ, when you look at the teachings of Buddha, when you look at the teachings of maybe your favorite New Age practitioner, when you look at some of the messages that were relayed throughout history from Catholic saints, all of the message is always about the message is for everyone. If anyone tries to tell you that a spiritual message is for this person or this group or that group and isn't for everyone, then you're probably in the wrong place, because spirituality is for everyone and a message is for everyone. Now, that doesn't mean every message is going to be for you. It doesn't mean you're going to take into your heart and resonate with every message. But the message is still for you, in the same way that you could walk into Baskin Robbins or most recently on my birthday, Cold Stone. And there are all these different flavors and there are all these different toppings. And even though you may choose not to have some of those things, they are still available for you. You're not going to walk into Cold Stone and there's going to be a sign around the mint ice cream that says, for Christians only. Every message should be for everyone. And that's why Christ's teachings, right, are for everyone. For anybody who wanted to listen, because the messages were universal. So I consider Christ to be an interfaith rabbi in the same way that I consider Buddha to have been an interfaith practitioner, in the same way that I considered St. Francis to have been an interfaith communicator and relayer of messages. Just because somebody belongs to a certain type of church or denomination of church, that doesn't mean the messages aren't for everyone. Everyone's message of light is for everyone, because the light is universal. The light is for all of us. The light made everything. The earth, us, Christianity, Judaism, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, all of it was created by the light. The light is the infinite source for all of us to tap into. And we're going to be talking about light today. Later in the service, we're going to be talking about light because we're going to be talking about miracles. And where do miracles come from? Miracles come from the light. And it's interesting, I've been doing a lot of interviews lately with other people. I'm a talk radio host of almost 30 years, so I do a lot of interviews of my own on my radio shows and my video show. But lately I've been hopping onto other folks' shows, and a lot of people see, because my title always says that I'm a psychic medium, I'm an interfaith minister, and I'm a 28-year talk radio host. So everybody always wants to ask me about all of that. And right now it seems like everyone wants to ask me about being an interfaith minister. What is interfaith? What does that mean? Why do I say that that's what I am? Why that title? And to me, it's kind of a redundancy, because I believe everybody is interfaith. If you are a devout Christian person, but you acknowledge that you live on the earth with devout people of different faiths, then you are interfaith, because interfaith is the world. Part of being interfaith doesn't mean you have to practice everything. Just like, and I know that Pastor Keith loves when I do the spiritual salad bar reference, when you go to Sizzler, you're not required to try everything on the salad bar. Therefore, you're still in Sizzler, and things on the salad bar still exist. So if you are not eating onions, because I don't like the onions, folks, you're sitting next to, my best friend puts onions in everything. My mother put onions in everything. So you're sitting at a table with onion eaters, but you're not eating the onions. That is like interfaith spirituality. I guess that's interfaith cuisine. It's the same with your spirituality. If you are on the earth, I live in a very conservative part of California where I grew up in Orange County, California. And I'm fairly sure a lot of folks on my street are fundamentalist Christians. I am not, nor have I ever been a fundamentalist Christian, or a fundamentalist anything, except I guess maybe I'm a little fundamentalist interfaith now that we're talking about it. We all still live on this street. We all pull our trash cans in the same way. We all pick up our mail in the same place. We all have our lawns mowed the same way. We all say hello to each other on the street. But we all have different spirituality, and that's what interfaith is. Right? That is the magic of interfaith. That here we all are existing together. Oh, and yet we all believe different things under the umbrella of one thing, which is God. And that's the beauty. And just as I'm talking about the light, who shows up? But one of my favorite small light-filled beings, Brother Cullen, a Saturday Night Spiritual's smallest little deacon, the man behind the service, who provides love to the pastor. This little man has decided that he wants a snuggle, and I never say no when my baby wants a snuggle. So that is the pureness of love, right? That is that universal light that I was talking about. That is part of the love and compassion that Jesus showed us all. I was thinking today in the shower, where I often have many of my good thoughts, about how when Jesus spoke, it wasn't just, I'm Jesus and I'm lecturing you. My mama used to say, holier than thou, right? Jesus didn't want a podium. He didn't want to be king of the Jews. He didn't want titles. He wanted to relay messages. And I believe that the messages that Christ relayed were not just him teaching us or him showing us, but him hoping that we would get it, that we would think about it, digest it, realize that the things that he talked to us about existed inside of us, and then move forward in the Christ spirit, right, on the Christ path, and perform our own miracles and pass on our own good words, and then inspire others to do the same. And that, I think, is one of the most beautiful things about the teachings of Christ, is that they're all about, hey, I'm saying these things to lift you up in hopes that you will feel exalted, and then you will turn around and lift up others. I love that expression, when you're feeling great, send the elevator down and bring up 100 people. That's what Jesus did, right? He passed the messages to people in various villages and towns and cities. He passed the messages to his disciples, who then went on and spread the messages. It's like that hair commercial from the 70s, right? I told 2 friends, and they told 2 friends, and so on and so on. That's how Christianity was built. It was built like a 1970s hair commercial, and in essence, Jesus was the Brett girl, with the lovely hair, so very fitting. That is how true messages are spread, right? That is how beautiful things are spread. They're infused into things. When you go outside during the day and the sun shines on you, the sun isn't hitting you like a spotlight. It's out there, and its light and its warmth is everywhere. And as you are under the sun, the magic of the sun, right? The light, the warmth, the emotional uplift, the spiritual uplift, the vitamin D that you get, all of it infuses into you through your eyes and through your skin. That is how a good spiritual message should come to you. It should be infused into you. When you hold an animal that you love, when I hold Cullen, it's not like a hand comes out and forces me to hug him. He comes near me, and the warmth And the beauty that comes out of him infuses into me and makes me feel warm inside. That is how good spiritual messages come to you too. And I have nothing against indoctrined religion or folks who practice it on any level of fundamentalist or zealousness, the spectrum of it all. But to me, the best spiritual messages are not the ones that are forced into you with a pointy finger and threats of damnation. They are the things that come out into the ethers and then infuse into you when they come near you, like a beautiful smell of a perfume you like, or I love the smell of cooking corn. That's probably crazy. When corn is boiling on the stove or grilling on a grill, I'm like, that is the best smell. Cooking corn is magic. Or popping corn, best smell ever. It just infuses into you and warms you up when it's something that you love. And that's how good messages should be too. And Jesus had it right in that way. If Jesus had come into a town and said, all of you are bad people and you're all going to hell and my dad, God, hates you all and you better do this or this is going to happen, that wouldn't have moved people. But to come into an area where people don't know what you have to say, they don't know about your messages, and to say, I have a message for you. And the message is about love, and the message is about light, and the message is about community, and the message is about connection, and the message is about a warmth that starts in your belly and grows and envelops you. And that is the beauty of interfaith spirituality. Interfaith spirituality, when you accept that is what the world is, shouldn't just make you more devout and more excited and enthusiastic about your own spiritual thoughts, but should also make you more excited about other people's, even if they're not your own. Because isn't it wonderful when someone adopts spirituality, even if it's not something that's your spirituality? Because it means somebody believes. It means somebody has adopted a belief and let light into their lives. That is a beautiful thing. Hang on, Brother Cullen needs to come get, I know, is he the cutest? But he needs to come get down for a moment because he's very enthusiastic today because it's Saturday Night Spiritual Day. And he gets very excited when it's Saturday Night Spiritual Day because he's my favorite little parishioner. And he's so excited that it's today. So that's just something I'm thinking about on the eve of Easter and the day after Good Friday when I'm thinking about Jesus and how, my mother was what she called a Teachings of Christ Christian and a metaphysician. So she always thought of Christ as a metaphysical healer. And when you read the Bible and you think about a lot of things that Jesus did, you kind of get it. I mean, he really was sort of went from place to place, healed people, performed miracles, as we called them, right? Healed people, made people feel uplifted and exalted and excited about God. And then went to the next place and did the same. Like delicious infectiousness, just spreading light everywhere he went. And after he was murdered and resurrected, he did the same. He continued to perform miracles and he continued to spread light. And that kind of takes me to a little bit about what I want to talk to you about in my sermon today. I drink a lot. I'm sorry, my friends. When we think of Christ, it's hard to think of Jesus without thinking about performing miracles. Jesus performed miracles, right? We talk about Jesus, and what do we think about Jesus? We think about miracles, right? When you see Jesus and you think about the happy things in Jesus's life, not death and trials and crucifixion, naysayers, but when you think about the good things, You think about him coming to people after the resurrection with open, loving arms, right? You think of him walking on water. You think of him healing lepers. You think of him bringing people back from the dead. You think of water being turned into wine and fish nets full of fish and people being and eating that were starving. You think about him bringing abundance where there was scarcity. You know, in the Buddhist religion, we talk a lot about a scarcity consciousness versus an abundance consciousness, right? A scarcity consciousness is when after gay marriage was legalized, there were folks in my life that I know that are of a more fundamentalist religious bent, and they would say, well, if gay people can get married, does that mean straight people aren't going to be allowed to get married anymore? That, my friends, is scarcity consciousness. If somebody gets something, then I'm losing something. That is a scarcity consciousness. When you think of everybody getting more as something that adds to your more, that's an abundance consciousness. Oh, I'm not gay, but gay people can now get married. Well, that benefits me because the more rights everybody has, the happier happier everybody will be. That's abundance consciousness. You just won the lottery? Wow, fantastic. That makes me think that maybe someday I could win the lottery. Not, you won the lottery? Oh, great. I guess I'm not winning the lottery this time. That is scarcity consciousness. It's very important when we create our spiritual palette that we make sure we are always doing it with an abundance consciousness. Because a scarcity consciousness gets us into a lot of trouble. And it puts us in a place that's not fantastic. So when we think about Christ, we think about all the things that he did in an abundance consciousness. Not, oh, I have this ability to perform miracles, so I'm just going to perform them for me, and I'm going to get really rich, and I'm going to leave all of you out. No, it was, how can I fill the fishermen's nets? How can I provide more food for people? How can I make the wine come? How can I heal the sick? How can I show people how to show mercy on people that are different? Sick people, lepers, prostitutes, whatever the story is. How do I create an abundance consciousness where we all realize we're in this together and we're hoping that every person feels more and works towards the betterment of their fellow creatures on the earth, man and otherwise, man, woman, human, and otherwise. Instead of thinking about, well, what can I get for me that's not you, for you? Or even worse, being resentful because something good happened for you. That is a scarcity consciousness, and we need to be aware of that. Animals are so good at it. They're so good at being tribal. They're so good at sharing. Not in all instances. There are survivalist things too. There are dark sides of all species of animals. But for the most part, they get the idea that we're all in it together, and the survival of one is the survival of the many. We as humans have a harder time. Cullen knows I'm doing a video right now. I do a lot of videos throughout the week and throughout the month. He's not a stranger to my videos. But when I'm getting excited about speaking with people, he gets excited and he wants to come up. He wants to kiss me. He wants to share himself on the video. That is an abundance consciousness. Animals naturally have an abundance consciousness, which is so beautiful. And this little guy's a champ and such a healer. So let's talk a little bit about miracles. So when we think of Jesus, we think of miracles, right? If you walked up to the average person who maybe not is a devout Christian and asked them, what do you know about Jesus? I'd be willing to bet in the top 5, everybody would say he performed miracles. And there's no doubt that he did. And there's no doubt that his gifts were huge. And there's no doubt that he was so special and so wondrous in all he can do. But what we often don't talk about when we talk about Jesus and miracles is that I believe that so many things that Christ taught us and so many things that Christ told us and shared with us was not just to get us to believe that he could do miracles, but to inspire us that we also could do miracles. And I believe that many things that Christ shared, the goal of those teachings was to empower us to believe that we too could perform miracles. Now, am I going to go out on the ocean tomorrow night and get on the water and think I'm going to walk on it? Well, probably not. Although I do know people that have run across hot coals and not burned. Maybe there are people walking on water that I don't know about. But I can tell you that I know people who have healed themselves from cancer, have healed themselves from AIDS, have taken a situation that looked dire and built themselves back up emotionally, financially, spiritually, have manifested things in their life that they wanted. There are so many miracles that each of us is performing every day. And the way you start to perform miracles is you start to look at your life, your existence on the earth as a miracle. It's a miracle that we're all here. When you think about how we are all in essence a cell, one cell that continues to multiply until it becomes a tiny person, all nestled and safe in the womb and protected, and then launched into this terrifying earth, which can be very scary and very treacherous, where we continue to grow until we become a fully formed person. That is a miracle. That is our first miracle, is our utter existence, and our survival is a miracle. This little guy who I'm holding in my arms right now, I have known him since he was 3 days old. He was about this big when I met him. He couldn't see or hear or walk or feed himself or go to the bathroom by himself. He was found in an alley in Carson, California, and sent to a kill shelter to die, where a rescue heard that he was going to be euthanized within the hour and went and got him, gave him by accident to my girlfriend, who was fostering a litter of tabbies. And when she went to pick them up, he was just in the basket with all the orange cats. He was a week younger than them, and we didn't know from minute to minute if he was going to live. But he did. He performed a miracle of his own survival. And now he's big and healthy and happy, and he can jump up to the top of a bookcase from the floor. That's a miracle. You decide every day, are you going to continue to live? Are you going to continue to exist? That's a miracle. Staying alive on the earth every day is a miracle. Overcoming the obstacles and the challenges that Spirit gives us for our spiritual growth in this lifetime, that is a miracle. And we choose to stay here and we choose to do miraculous things. 3-year-olds that can play a piano concerto. A 7-year-old that can count to 1,000,000. A 10-year-old that can break a track record. Miracles. Everyday miracles. And the amount of healing and the praying. Miracles. When you're on Facebook and you say, I need your prayers today, and you look at your Facebook page and there are dozens, hundreds, thousands of people praying for you, putting up heart prayer hands, thumbs up, a smiley face, telling you, I'm here and you got this. That's a miracle. And then you heal. And then you instantly feel better. That's a miracle. The night my mother was dying, I put something on Facebook and I said, I'm losing my best friend and I don't know how to do this. And there were thousands of messages on my Facebook pages for me. And those messages got me through that time and healed me. Every single one of those people performed a miracle and aided in my healing. And I say this because I think sometimes we're taught that we're not enough. We're taught that we're little tiny puny things and the great and powerful Oz runs it all. And who are we to think that we're this and who are we to think that we're that? Because that's what oftentimes our fellow man tells us, right? God is this huge thing and Jesus was this huge thing and you're this little tiny puny thing. But I don't believe that that's what God wanted for us, wants for us. And I don't believe that's what Jesus was teaching us. Not that I'm so huge and you're a little tiny puny thing, so you better sit and wait for some prophet or some savior or some deity to come and tell you that you're good enough to create a miracle in your own life. You better beg for someone to come and help. No, I don't believe that's the essence of Christ's teachings or the essence of any good healer's teachings. Right? Teach a man to fish. It's not just about creating the fish. It's about teaching someone to fish so they can perform the miracles for themselves. Christ wasn't here to say, I'm all that. Only I can do it. And now I'm going to be sacrificed and martyred. So, suffer everybody, I'm gone. See you, wouldn't want to be you. No, Christ taught us all. The miracle is within you. You have everything you need inside of you to perform a miracle. Do you do that by channeling the Christ essence, by channeling God energy, by getting higher power and all of your guides and angels and saints behind you? Well, absolutely. No man is an island. We don't do this on our own. But we do this. We do have the ability to do this. And I think like everybody else, when I was younger, I thought as a human being, it all was dependent on me. And I had to make everything happen. And the way I had to make everything happen was I had to push and go get it, and push down the door and knock this down and make this happen. Well, how was that working out for me? Not very well. I was always frustrated, not very well. I always felt like I was throwing my weight against a door that wasn't opening. And then one day Spirit had a very intense conversation with me. And I learned that it wasn't about running up and slamming my body against the closed door. It was about the manifesting. It was about getting in the canoe and pulling in the oars and understanding that Spirit, God, is in charge and allowing the river to take me where it was going to take me. And suddenly all these wonderful things that I wanted from my life just happened. So now if I want something, or I think I'd be good at something, or I'm excited about something, like becoming a minister and becoming pastored here at Founders MCC, I say to Spirit, this is what I would like. This is what I think I would be good at. This is how I think I could make the world a better place. What do you think? And I let Spirit help me to manifest it for myself. And then very much aligns with the teachings of Christ. Christ wanted us to be empowered, to find inner strength, to come together in community with like-minded people, to understand that we were stronger together, and to find ways to manifest the things that we wanted, to make our dreams come true. So if something happens that's hard, like you lose money, or you have a health problem, or you lose someone you love, or someone you know is sick, or you lose a beloved animal child, don't give up. Don't think it's all over. I'll tell a story I tell a lot because I have 5 or 6 friends right now with very serious cancer. So I had a friend when I was in my early 20s who was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer and basically told she was done. I mean, we would see her out places and people would basically see her to say goodbye. And then I didn't hear anything about her for a while. And I think we were all waiting to get the news. And then she lived. I heard from some folks she'd gone into remission. And then I heard from some more folks. And then I started seeing her out places. And that was, well, I just turned 56. That was 30 years ago. She's still in remission. So years later, I had her as a guest on my radio show again. And I asked her about it. And I told her that story. You know, we all said goodbye to you. We were just waiting. And she said that through the entire process of treatment, she never gave up on the idea that she would heal. And she kept an open mind and an open heart through the whole thing. And that her first day of chemo, she was in, a chemo chair with other people in chairs around her. And a volunteer came in and brought cookies. Now, I know this is a thing now because my best friend had cancer in 2016. And people would come and bring blankets and hats they knitted and goodies and brownies and all kinds of things for the folks getting chemo. So this lady came around with the cookies, and my friend reached out to take one, and the woman next to her said, "Don't eat that cookie. You don't know what's in that. You don't know who that woman is, what she could have done to the cookie. Don't touch that cookie." And my friend kind of shrugged and, took a cookie. So after the session was over, she was leaving, and the nurse came to talk to her. And she told the nurse that she was so scared and that, she didn't know what was going to happen. And the nurse said, "You know what? I've seen a lot of people come and go through here, and you're going to be okay." She said, "The way that you reacted to the woman with the cookie, you're going to be okay." And that lady next to you that was so suspicious of the cookie and so negative, those are the types that oftentimes don't make it. And sure enough, that woman didn't make it. And my friend did. So your attitude around everything is everything. And I believe that we really learn that too in the story of Jesus and the teachings of Christ. That Christ's attitude, even faced with horrible adversity and naysayers and haters and people who literally wanted to and then did kill him, he always stayed in a place of understanding, of manifestation, of moving forward. Does it always work out for you? No. Sometimes you get killed. Sometimes you don't survive the cancer. There are no guarantees. But there are miracles to be performed. And everybody is capable of performing their own miracles and performing miracles for others. And this is so much what Christ wanted us to know. That we too can perform miracles, continue to perform miracles, and that our lives are a miracle. Our existence is a miracle. Sometimes when I hold my beautiful boy, well, I'm going to show you how beautiful he is right now. I think about that little guy that wasn't even as big as his head is now. That little guy that seems so unhappy, that couldn't see or hear, that was starving, that was neglected, that was found all alone. We don't know how they found him or why he was all alone or how he wound up there. And I think about the miracle he has become and the miracle that he was led by happenstance, 4 or 5 degrees of separation happenstance, to become mine. And the miracles that he performs in my life every single day just by being alive. And the miracles that I hope I perform in his life every single day just by being alive. It's a miracle. I just had my birthday. It's a miracle I'm still here 56 years later. There were times when that was a little dicey. It's a miracle that I'm healthy and happy and performing these services every month at my mother's desk where she sat and did so much of her spiritual work, that I have the honor of living now in my childhood home where all of my mother's memories are, that I'm here pastored at this wonderful church, that once a month I get to do this wonderful service for you. You have to think of everything in your life like a miracle. And before you do that, you have to believe in miracles. So many people don't. You have to flat out believe in miracles. And so many people, they just don't. You have to believe in the possibility of everything. That everything and anything is possible. And you have to believe that there is a higher purpose looking out for you. You have to believe that God has a plan for you, that you have a destiny, that God is with you every step of the way, that you are walking your path, just a small, tiny being with the giant God being next to you, and God's big, soft, warm, gentle hand is holding your tiny hand and guiding you down the road the same way that you held your mother's hand or your father's hand or a grandparent's or an aunt or uncle's hand as they walked you into your first day of kindergarten. Every day when I walk my path, I feel like it's my first day of kindergarten. And Spirit's hand is in mine like my mother's hand was in mine that day. And sometimes the spirit of my mother is in my other hand as I walk that path. You're not alone. You're in this part of this vast, beautiful, all-encompassing, warm, light-filled realm of possibility and magic and mysticism and miracles. And there is a reason for you. You are here for a reason. And that reason is beautiful. And you are loved. You are so loved by God. And you are loved by all of the realm of the universe. And you are loved by all of us here at Founders MCC, and you are loved by me. Please remember that you're a miracle and that you can perform miracles. I just want you to know that at all times. All right? Now, this is the part that I like to say, it's help us to help you to help others. We are not an island, this church. We rely on the kindness of those that love and donate and give their time and assistance in many ways to keep us going. So help us to help you, to help others. If you go to foundersmcc.com, you will see where you can donate. And please put Saturday Night Spiritual in there, because it's nice for people to know that you're enjoying what you're seeing. It's always nice to make an offering when you enjoy something, and we appreciate if you do. And thank you for allowing this to be a cat-friendly service, because the little guy gets very excited when the spirit of everything is everywhere. It makes this little guy all fired up, because this boy sure does love his spirituality. Thank you. I appreciate you donating. I appreciate you helping this wonderful church. Text 77977 if you want to donate directly that way. That's how you do it. I hope you have a great Easter and a happy Passover and every other holiday that's coming your way. I hope you've had a wonderful spring, that you had a good spring equinox, and you're charging towards a beautiful summer solstice. We're here the second Saturday of every month. I'm Sheena Metal. I'm at sheenametalspiritual.com. My phone number and my email are there in the contact section. If you want to text me or email me and talk about the wonder of the light and the teachings of Christ, I'm here. I'm very accessible, and I love when you reach out. Please attend our Easter service tomorrow. See Pastor Keith do his thing. I understand some may be dressed in drag, which is really the best way to spend Easter, in an Easter bonnet. And thank you for being here every Saturday with me. I'm so honored to share this time with you. And you know I love you all so much, and you're so special to me. And find us again at foundersmcc.org, SaturdayNightSpiritual.com, Rev Sheena, foundersmcc.com if you want to watch some older sermons and services. And you know, I always end with a poem, and I love this one. I just discovered this one. It's by Terry McPherson Buckley, and it's called You Are a Miracle. You are a child of creation, a reflection of God. No one can steal your beauty or reduce your worth unless you let them. So don't let them. You are a miracle of God's love, a miracle. Never look at yourself and see anything else. Your life is not a random stroke of chance. You are part of a sovereign plan, loved into existence for eternity. Let the fire in your soul live and love and laugh and leap for joy. And for the short trip you walk upon this earth, you are the light of the world. How beautiful is that? I'm Reverend Sheena. This is Saturday Night Spiritual, Founders MCC. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Fill yourself with light. Namaste. God bless.